everybody. Thank you for joining me once again, where people continue to be wrong on the interwebs. It doesn't look like slowing down anytime soon. In fact, it seems to be gathering momentum. Unfortunately, what we also have these days is a trend of previously sensible commentators who have completely lost the plot, frankly, and have left the building. Unfortunately, Stephanie is one of those. She is now making a string of videos and has been doing for several months without little hindrance, claiming in some way that the carnivore diet will damage you long-term or will be bad for your health long-term. I'm sorry, Stephanie. It's absolute garbage. It's rubbish. There is no science to support what you're saying whatsoever. What you're saying is frankly stupid and you need to stop. In the meantime, we'll deal with you point-wise on your latest, or one of your latest videos. This one's called Carnivore Confusion. Well, let's see who it is that's confused and who really isn't, shall we? Off you go, Steph.
And we're live. Okay, guys, sort of, not really. This is pre-recorded. I want to talk to you about if the carnivore diet is safe long-term.
The answer is yes. Yes, it is.
I would say that the things that you guys are learning, there is no way in mother-sucking H-E-double-L that it's good for the long term.
Well, that's just ignorance, Stephanie. There's nothing to support that claim. That's just your opinion and it's vacuous. It's based on nothing. Sorry.
I want to go over some sort of between the cracks concepts that you guys don't realize.
Right, of course. Do tell me all about science, please, Stephanie, because I don't have any idea about that. I've never heard of it.
If I share with you some of these carnivore videos, I can kind of see why you guys are either confused or think it's super easy. So,
well, it is super easy to be 100% carnivore. Really is. No difficulty involved whatsoever. And we're not confused, Stephanie. Not remotely confused. Why on earth would you think that we are confused? Please tell me how I'm confused.
Well, let's take a look. Sure. All right. Let me tell you right now, I zoomed in on that title. I'm not talking about the person's channel. I don't care. I'm just talking about losing 100 pounds in 3 months is a disaster.
Not if you've got 300 plus pounds on your body and shouldn't have. That's a miracle. In fact, it's a great job. It's well done. Good stuff.
To your hormonal balance.
You're going to back that up with anything at all, Stephanie? Anything whatsoever? Any evidence at all that you shouldn't lose 100 pounds in 3 months if you've got more than 300 to start with? Shall we wait?
This is a great example of somebody, you can't lose 100 pounds of just fat.
You can, in fact, do exactly that. Yep.
In 3 months, you're going to lose water.
Well, yes, you're going to lose water irrespective of which dietary approach you use to precipitate the loss of excess fat off your body. Precisely, Stephanie, because what happens when you oxidize fat for energy? Oh, that's right. You make carbon dioxide gas and, water, which you then need to clear from your body because it will be added to your body pools and you only need so much water. Okay, so yes, you're going to lose some water.
You're going to lose muscle.
No. Muscle will be the last thing your body uses for energy. Why, in a purple fit, would your body use hard-earned protein, hard-earned muscle mass for energy if there's any stored fat on the body whatsoever? The thing precisely stored there for that reason, to use later. Why would it do that, Stephanie?
Yeah, you're going to lose your immune function.
No. You're going to back that up with anything? Should we wait for that? Still no? Okay, good.
And the homeostatic regulatory balance of your hormones. But
no, Stephanie, false. Again, waiting for you to provide any evidence for any of these claims. No?
But people just won't talk about these things.
Because it's just shit you've just made up, Stephanie. Why would we talk about shit that you've just made up?
They just make it. If I was overweight and I saw the title of that video up there, I'd be like, I'm all over this carnivore stuff. But no one is actually talking about if you have hypoglycemia, hyper or dysglycemia while trying to do a carnivore diet, what's going on with your thyroid and your gallbladder.
That's completely false, Stephanie. There are many commentators talking quite sensibly about all of those issues. You're clearly just not listening.
All the garden variety subjects I always talk about. I thought it'd be very interesting to show some of these video titles and kind of like why you guys get so confused.
We're not confused, Stephanie, still.
That was one that stuck out. Of course, I don't have my stupid phone muted. Let's do that now.
How about before you make your next video, also have a plan of what you're going to talk about? Just for something different, Steph.
Now, the carnivore diet, as you guys can see, it's trending. Carnivore diet for 40 years. Here's another lie.
No, it isn't. Get that, Richard? Rick? Stephanie just called you a liar. No, he's not a liar. Rick has been carnivore for 40 years, Stephanie. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe him or not, makes no difference. Those are the facts.
Okay. I'm not going to play the video because I don't want to link the video.
Well, you just did. You put it up on the screen so everybody knows which one you're talking about, Stephanie.
But again, people have different concepts of carnivore. Now, I guess like...
Well, do you know what Richard's is? No. So why are you talking about things that you understand absolutely not at all, Stephanie?
Paul is really pushing the fruit, but...
Yeah, but that's not carnivore, is it? That's, whether you think fruit is carnivore or not makes no difference to the fact that it fucking isn't. Carnivore is eating the flesh and fat of animals. Okay? Anything that's not that isn't carnivore. Now, there are levels of adherence to a carnivore diet that people can choose for their own reasons to adopt. Some of those people make those choices based on education and understanding of the facts at hand and the science that underpins it all, and some of them don't. Paul's one of those that does not. Paul has no idea. Paul wouldn't know science if it bit him on the arse, Stephanie, any more than you would. Neither one of you is trained in science at all. Okay? What's next?
Is that carnivore? Not really.
No, it really is not. As opposed to not really, it really isn't. Eating 400 grams of carbohydrates a day is not carnivore, Stephanie, at all. Nowhere close.
It's a diet that he actually made up.
Yes, so, Paul made his diet up, yes, and it's not carnivore.
Why aren't people talking about why people are eating fruit, for example?
Well, I am, Stephanie. Have you been listening? I've been talking about it quite a bit in recent months as to why Paul might be doing that.
On carnivore or carnivore diet for 40 years. That right there, I mean, you won't believe his age.
Right. You probably wouldn't.
I would sit there and clickbait this all day long as well.
Well, that's the whole idea with YouTube videos, isn't it? But also, we're about getting people some good information and letting them see the stories of people like Rick here, who has, whether you like it or not, Stephanie, been a carnivore for 40 years. There's another woman we now know of who's been doing it for 65 years, Stephanie. Okay? It's pretty safe long term, clearly.
Okay. And you've got other things like why you should try the carnivore diet, benefits of the carnivore diet optimal health.
How is this informing us in any way on anything, Stephanie? This is just looking at the titles of videos and making comments about those videos, having apparently not even viewed them. What's the value in this, other than to make another video and get some people to watch your video for some reason?
Let me see. This one says carnivore diet, latest fitness trend.
Man, you have seriously dropped the ball, Stephanie. You really have. In the biggest way possible, just about. What's happened to you? Why has this happened? Why are you so off track here? And what will it take to get you back on?
It's broken down. The science behind that supports the carnivore diet. This is when Paul was strict and now he's not. So just right there. Here's another one that's confusing, right?
No, it really isn't.
Thomas here. We've got the bacon and the eggs. But nobody's telling you that a lot of people who do carnivore have freaking histamine intolerance.
Yeah, but so what, Stephanie? What the purple fuck has that got to do with anything? Sure, people that have such intolerances need to work out that that's the issue and need to deal with it appropriately. Is that a reason to bag the carnivore diet? Of course it bloody isn't.
A lot of people cannot tolerate eggs or bacon.
Fine, so they shouldn't eat them. There are plenty of other options.
The quality of your eggs matter.
Yes. Again, though, what's that got to do with whether or not the carnivore diet is safe long-term or whether people are confused? Because they're still not, Stephanie. At large.
Because if you get pastured eggs that somebody has in their backyard, you're more likely being able, who are feeding their chickens like healthy scraps and bugs and seeds.
Oh, God.
A lot of these commercialized eggs in the supermarket are fed soy. So this flares up people's histamine times 5,000.
Times 5,000, you say? Where did you get that number from, other than straight out of your asshole? I know it's just a turn of phrase, but we are talking about science here, Stephanie, or we're supposed to be. You're supposed to be, according to the title of your video, clearing up some confusion. What have you said and what are you likely to say that will do anything of the sort for anybody? It'll be an understatement, Stephanie, to point to the fact that I'm a little bit disappointed in you.
And then people are eating bacon, and they're eating bacon with nitrates. The types of foods on a carnivore diet matter.
That's true of any diet, Stephanie. There's nothing special about the carnivore diet in that respect. Okay? What's next?
I can show you right now. I've been cooking pork belly that I got at a local butcher where the pigs are pastured right out there, right outside next to the freaking butcher. So let's check it out. Let me go grab my bacon. My pork belly.
Oh, God, are you serious, Stephanie? Now you're going to piss off in the middle of a video to go and fuck about with some pork belly and leave us to our own devices. Are you serious? That's what you're doing? I wonder how long this goes on for. Not too long, but nonetheless, well, it is too long because you shouldn't have done that at all. If you wanted to show us something, you should have had it there ready to go. It's part of having a plan for your video.
Okay, my people. Here's some pork belly.
We all know what pork belly looks like.
And I just had my butcher chop it into tiny little, like, not tiny little, but into bacon strips. But there's no nitrates on this.
Excellent. Good.
It's so good.
I'm sure it is. I agree. It would be.
I had to stop myself from overeating it. This type of pork belly, where it's not aged, it's not cured in anything, I have no words. And when it's past,
You seem to have plenty, Stephanie. They're just not the right ones.
they're big. I have more and more no words of how amazing this is. But this is a great example of the quality of the meat that you're eating in comparison to just seeing a picture of bacon and eggs on a thumbnail. Let's go back to it, though. Okay.
So, again, how have you cleared up any kind of confusion here about the carnivore diet thus far? You're about 1/5 of the way through your video, and I'm yet to hear you say anything that clears up any form of confusion about carnivore diet in any way. You've also stated explicitly that you don't think there's any way that a carnivore diet can be good for you long term, and you've provided us with absolutely nothing whatsoever to support that claim.
If I have a histamine intolerance,
Do you?
I cannot do this for the long term. I cannot sit there and pound down a bunch of eggs and bacon.
Fine, if you do have histamine intolerance and that is a problem for you, then don't fucking do that. Cool.
Okay. Let's go more into some of these video titles that are kind of confusing.
Oh, God, really?
Raw meat. Here's one. Raw meat.
Yeah, well, any video starring the person sitting behind the person in the front there is something that you can ignore immediately, isn't it? No credibility.
Again, so many people who start off doing the carnivore diet do it because they have severe histamine intolerance or SIBO.
No, that's not the reason they get started. Often, at all, Stephanie. Where did you get that from?
And they cannot deal with the bacteria, especially on raw meat. If it's dry aged and it's raw and it's been sitting in your refrigerator, no wonder you guys aren't improving with this stuff. So
who's not improving on a carnivore diet, Stephanie? Who is it that is not doing well? Who is it that's not improving vastly as a function of their carnivore diet compared with any standard diet? Who are these people?
If you persist, raw clearly is going to have more of the nutrient value, more dense nutrient
False. Not true.
value in the meat.
No, not true. There is perfectly sufficient nutrient in even well-done meat. I've covered this in great detail, many times, in fact.
Overcooked, and the cooked meat is more oxidized. But if you sear it, you're going to sear that bacteria off the outside of that meat. I would not do raw. No.
Neither would I so much. Finally, something lately that we can agree on, Stephanie.
I don't even do raw liver anymore.
You shouldn't do liver at all, Stephanie. Liver is not a good idea.
I've done raw. I don't do it anymore.
I wouldn't do it at all, raw or otherwise. Or very, very rarely in a very small amount, perhaps.
Okay. What I order at McDonald's. Okay. We all know who this is. I love them, but what are you talking about? No. Again, a lot of people who are doing carnivore have histamine intolerance.
You've said that, Stephanie. Are you going to back that up with anything? Is the prevalence of histamine intolerance in the carnivore community any higher than anywhere else? If so, what are the numbers? Where did they come from? Where is this claim coming from? Shall we wait?
Gut issues and ordering a McDonald's patty, that's not going to make you lose the weight. That's not going to
I wouldn't do that either because of the seed oils that they cook the things in. I wouldn't go anywhere near McDonald's patties, personally.
You age 20,000 years backwards. That's just going to jack you up. Okay? We got to be very careful with this stuff. I will say more, but I will not say more.
Well, make up your mind. Which is it, Stephanie? Will you say more or won't you?
What is that? The aromatization is real. Okay, but I digress. Okay.
Digress from what? Exactly. What have you been talking about that you are now digressing from in some way?
We've got the Petersons talking about carnivore. They make it sound so easy. A lot of you guys...
It really fucking is. Very, very easy.
Again, these people, Jordan and his daughter, went and they did carnivore. They felt so much better. But if you're pounding down mono meats and you're just eating beef all the time, a lot of people rebound with all of their joint pain.
Which people, Stephanie? A lot of people, you say. Which people? Where are you getting these ideas from? Where are the empirical data points that tell us what people are experiencing? Because otherwise you're just spouting an opinion. Opinions are like assholes, Stephanie. Most people have got one. Mostly they're full of shit.
Their health issues, their immune system tanks from doing too much red meat.
Too much red meat, you say? How much is too much red meat?
Also have to consider things like people who have an iron overload because of eating so much red meat.
No. Iron overload is generally almost entirely a genetic issue.
Their body's not absorbing the iron. People who have...
Well, make your mind up if they got an overload or are they not absorbing it? Because if they're not absorbing it, they won't have an overload, will they?
like gastric bypass. There are so many different types of people who develop hiccups doing a carnivore diet.
How many people that have had a gastric bypass are on the carnivore diet, Stephanie? How many?
Eating so much red meat.
How much red meat?
Because no one is talking about the individual. We are all...
Oh my God, no one is talking about individuals, are they not? Yes, they are, Stephanie. Once again, you're just not listening.
Different. We are all different. And
a little bit. We've all got pretty much the same genes, pretty much the same organ systems, with the same species. The same diet is appropriate largely, with very minor alterations for all people. What's your point?
Our bodies respond to these very different dietary measures, like the carnivore diet. So, for example, if I'm going to eat bacon, I'm just going to do fresh pork belly, and where I know where the pig is coming from, you know, you can almost pick out.
Well, good for you, but there are also people who are able to eat bacon from just about anywhere, and they're fine too, because there is some variation between individuals of what sets various people off and not. Still, though, what is your point, Stephanie? What is this video supposed to be about? What information are you imparting to us that's useful to anybody in any way?
The pig that you're going to consume, then you know what you are eating. That supermarket bacon, that's a hard no.
So that's your advice? Don't ever eat bacon from a supermarket? What if I do fine on supermarket bacon? What if I do absolutely fine on that, Stephanie? Should I avoid it too? If so, why? For what reason?
You know, like your commercial supermarkets. So let's continue.
Continue with what?
Should you have coffee or tea on the carnivore diet? No wonder you guys are confused.
No, we're not still.
That's a hard no.
But that's not confusing. Ideally, you shouldn't do those things. We understand that. What's confusing about that for anybody?
And then somebody's going, the studies. If we were to go by studies,
the studies. Okay, what studies?
This day, we might as well just throw in the towel because the world's gone cray with opinions on.
Yes, it has, hasn't it, Stephanie? You're right. Seems like everybody's got one, just like assholes. What is yours exactly? And what's it based on? What are you trying to tell us here?
Studies. I can't with it. This dude who was pushing the box of cookies, this dude, oh my goodness. I can't. I cannot.
You can't what?
Okay. Carnivore diet dangers.
It's a clickbait thumbnail and a clickbait title, Stephanie. If you'd bothered to watch it, you'd see that.
Interesting. I want to play it, but I'm not going to.
Oh, God.
Who's this?
Mark Bell is who that is, for goodness sake.
Carnivore diet pushers should be thrown in jail.
Oh, you mean who's the guest? It's Furman, a well-known high priest of the Church of Anorexia Vegana. An ideologue, a theologue, a criminal, a charlatan. That's who that is.
Okay, I'm going to play this one, you guys. I have to. It's too funny.
No, it's ridiculous.
Okay, they should all be put in jail.
Nutrients, but low calories, right?
Correct. I mean, you're getting a lot of bad information that's killing people.
Yes, the bad information that's killing people is coming from Furman. This clown here, this criminal, this charlatan.
And those people should be put in jail.
The person that should be in jail is Joel Furman.
That you're having on your show.
Uh-oh. Sean Baker, you need to be put in jail.
That's right. They should be stopped. We should, silence them.
All right, so we should silence people who have a different opinion from us. All right, good.
All right, let me just answer that. Okay, two things. One, the most proven methodology to slow aging.
There are no methodologies proven to slow aging. None at all.
I should say the only proven methodology to slow aging and live longer
There is none still.
is moderate caloric restriction.
No, calories are heat. They are photons of light. They have no effect on your aging process whatsoever. None. They don't actually interact with matter in any meaningful way at all. Your body's made of matter, okay? So no, Joel.
In an environment of micronutrient
An environment. Mm-hmm.
excellence. And let me say that one more time, because people should write this down.
No.
Moderate caloric restriction.
No, caloric restrict. You can't restrict calories. Your body temperature is steadfastly 37 degrees Celsius. And calories are heat. Still.
No.
In an environment
An environment, yes. What sort of environment?
or context of micronutrient excellence.
Which is something Joel Furman knows absolutely nothing whatsoever about. Clearly, I mean, take a look at the boy. Clearly, he knows all about nutrients. Can you believe that the lack of self-awareness of this buffoon sitting there with two jacked, athletic, muscular, actual men saying this ridiculous nonsense to them, to their faces? Let me tell you all about nutrients, says Joel Furman. Wow.
And by micronutrients, I mean vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, and antioxidants. Meat has no micronutrient load.
Yes, it does. False again.
Has no phytochemicals and antioxidants.
It doesn't have phytochemicals because phytochemicals come from plants. Luckily, though, there are no phytochemicals that are required nutrients for human beings, so that's fine.
Antioxidants.
Yes, it does. Uric acid comes from eating meat, and that's an antioxidant. False again, Joel Furman.
It doesn't diffuse free radicals.
Yes, it does. That's what uric acid does, you buffoon.
Processed foods has no, I'm saying a piece of chicken is like a bagel.
No, it isn't. It's not remotely similar to a bagel. A bagel is made from bread-like material, wheat, that contains gluten, and it's been leavened generally and stuff. It's bread. Chicken is meat of a bird. They're quite different, Joel.
They both are sources of calories.
No, they're not. Neither one is a source of calories because calories are still heat. Nothing else.
With no significant load of micronutrients.
Yes, they do have a significant load of micronutrients. There are many micronutrients found in the meat of animals.
Especially the phytochemicals and antioxidants.
Well, again, still phytochemicals. No, well, you don't need them anyway. And yes, there are antioxidants inherently in eating meat. Uric acid.
That diffuse free radicals and advanced glycation end products.
Rubbish.
The buildup, see, aging is all about the buildup of metabolic toxins.
No, it isn't. That's part of it. And metabolic toxins, you'll find will build up if you eat things that are toxic to your body, like plants, Joel Furman.
Waste products that age us, like free radicals. And
Listen to this garbage. I can't. I cannot. No wonder you guys are so confused.
We're not confused still, Stephanie. No matter how many times you tell us we're confused, we're not. At all. I'm actually a bona fide expert and authority in this field. Not confused at all. And neither are any of the people that listen to my material, my videos on a regular basis. They're not confused either. They're well educated.
Look at this guy who looks like he's like my great-great-great-grandfather talking. First of all, if you take something like liver, it is so packed with vitamin D, E, A, K, manganese.
Yeah, and also a toxic load of copper. A toxic load of copper. Bad idea. There's plenty of all the fat-soluble vitamins in muscle meat. You don't need to eat liver, ever. Not 1 gram necessarily at all. You can eat a small amount of liver from time to time if you feel like it. It's not a staple, and it's not something you should go after and look to prioritize and add heaps of it to your diet. That's a very, very bad idea, Steph.
It's got zinc, selenium, copper, vitamin C.
You'll find that in muscle meat too, in perfectly sufficient quantities.
What's wrong with these people? Like,
ignorance, Stephanie. It's a trait that's shared by quite a few people that think themselves competent to comment in this area, but unfortunately are not.
Really good source, vitamin K. Your
So is meat.
B12. Your
Yes, meat. Muscle meat. It's all there.
Bees. What is wrong with these people?
Ignorance, Stephanie, still. Well, ignorance, evil, misanthropic, theologically driven, claptrappery, propaganda, smoke and mirrors, and fearmongery. The sort of thing that should land them in prison. Joel Fuhrman should be imprisoned for his misanthropy. The very thing that he is projecting onto people like Sean Baker, it is in fact him that ought to be locked up and silenced. If anyone ought to be, it's Joel Fuhrman. And all his cronies, the priests, the high priests of the Church of Anorexia Vegana. All of them.
This is why my people don't believe nobody. Like,
yeah, there are people you should believe, Stephanie. Unfortunately, in recent times, you have become one of those people they should not believe, Stephanie, or listen to, because you've been spouting errant pap. You've been spouting absolute rancid pustulous bullshit for months on end now, bagging the carnivore diet and suggesting it's bad for you long term in some way. False. No, it isn't. Unacceptable.
look at these two guys, just astutely watching him. Like, this guy is a gift from God. I cannot.
They're not doing any such thing. Neither one of them is as stupid as you're making them out to be. They're both actually very intelligent individuals.
I cannot.
You keep saying that, Stephanie. Have you got anything else?
This dude.
Are you stoned or something, Stephanie? Is that what's been going on for the last few months? I don't know. I'm guessing entirely. But you have lost the plot entirely. What has happened?
Advanced glycation end products. Eating more calories in general.
You can't eat calories. It's impossible. Calories are heat energy. You cannot eat that.
Just consuming calories.
You can eat mass in the form of carbohydrates, fats, amino acids, proteins, alcohol, water. Those are all things that contain mass. They're all physical stuff. Calories are not. Okay? You can't eat those.
Produces more free radicals. The more calories.
Nonsense. Calories don't produce free radicals at all. Chemical interactions in the body produce free radicals, not calories.
As you eat, the more.
It's illogical as well. Calories do not create free. First of all, you don't count calories. But if you're
correct, that's the second thing that you and I can agree on of late, Stephanie. Well done.
Go by this calorie model. Look what he's showing. Nobody in the carnivore diet is showing that. So
correct. That nobody is suggesting that's what you should eat. You're right.
Everything is a clusterfuck of a BS nonsense. So what he wants people to do is starve and be anorexic.
That's right. Anorexia Vegana. Yes. We're doing well. We're agreeing on things. Finally, Stephanie. Good.
Okay. I don't even know who this dude is. I have no idea. I was just
Joel Fuhrman is who it is. He's a well-known high priest of the Church of Anorexia Vegana. And a cunt. What's next?
Flipping through videos, and I know he's not one of the main gurus who would freak out.
Well, he's up there, actually. So you haven't done your homework at all, have you, Stephanie? At all.
If I did a video on them. But, first of all, no one's considering that when you're doing any type of caloric restriction, are you hypoglycemic?
You can't restrict calories. You can't eat calories. You cannot absorb calories. Okay?
Do you have a problem with your HPA axis? I mean, do you have any issues with your electrolytes?
No, I don't have any issues with either of those things.
Where are you getting your energy? Do you have chronic fatigue?
Nope.
Do you have thyroid problems?
Nope.
And so everybody's got a stupid opinion.
Yes, Stephanie. That's what I've been alluding to. And yours is stupid too. There is nothing at all inherently wrong with a carnivore diet, short, medium, or long term. It is absolutely the appropriate diet for a human being. There are one or two things you can do that will fuck you up. Mistakes that people make by listening to idiots. Like, you should eat a bunch of organs. No, you fucking shouldn't. Okay? Like, you should avoid a certain amount of protein. The amount of protein that you're suggesting to people, Stephanie, is ridiculous. It's criminally low. you will lead people to a problem, eating as little protein as you are suggesting to people. For example, that is why you should get your nutrition information from someone who knows what they are talking about. Okay?
And it gets everyone super confused.
No, it doesn't. Only people who are stupid enough to listen to people who don't know what they're talking about.
This is the reason why I tell everyone to do your own research.
No. People don't have the skills to do research, Stephanie. Doing research is a skilled occupation. It takes years of training to be able to do research. You're talking about review. And review is open to interpretation. Research is not. They're very different things.
Know what's going on with your existing health.
Yes.
Do you have any of those things I just mentioned?
No.
Do you guys have loose stool? Are you constipated?
No.
Do you know what's going on with your GI tract?
Yes.
Do you know where your meat is coming from?
Yes.
Do you know what's going to happen when you fast and fast and fast and dry fast and
Yes.
20-day fast and 24-hour
I'm not doing 20-day fasts, Stephanie.
fast, but yet now you can't lose any weight?
I don't need to lose any. I'm under 140 pounds as we speak. How much more do you think I should lose? If anything, I want to gain some weight in the form of muscle. I'm starting to work on that now, finally. What's next?
What happened to your metabolism?
It's fine. It's great. It's awesome. Thank you.
Did it take a dive?
No, it didn't.
Right?
No, wrong. Just noise, Stephanie.
What's going on with your immune system?
It's great. I haven't been ill in years.
People just keep telling their BS nonsense.
Yes, they do, Stephanie. I agree. Like, you shouldn't eat carnivore diet long term. It'll be bad for your health for some reason, which you still haven't provided us with. What is your reason for suggesting it's bad for us? So far, you've splashed up the titles and thumbnails of a couple of videos and played a little bit out of a video put together by a complete fucksplat. Furman, are you going to provide us with anything of utility? At all? Still waiting.
Confusing you guys.
No, still not confused.
Now I've got to link this stupid video because I played it.
No, you don't. There's no rule that says you have to do that.
You don't believe anything. Nothing is real. Everything is freaking fake.
Do you have a plan before you make a video at all, Stephanie? You really seem to be battling. What's going on, love? Talk to me. You have my email address. We can talk this out. We can get to the bottom of what's really troubling you. I'm sure we can.
Everything. You have to really, really, really weigh and juggle and weigh and pay attention and use a microscope before you decide what you think is real and what you think is a bunch of lip service.
Or you could listen to someone who knows what they're talking about. And unfortunately, lately, Stephanie, that's not you. As I've said. How about listen to someone who has been absolutely consistent and persistent with his message for 5 years that I've been visible anywhere on social media. I've not changed my tune, not one jot, on any topic. Why is that, do you think? Maybe it's because I did 25 years, give or take, of actual research beforehand so that I knew what I was talking about before I opened my mouth. Okay? Please, Stephanie, you're not helping anybody.
The person you can trust is yourself.
No, Stephanie. No, not if you don't have the skills to wade through this clusterfuck of disinformation and work out what is real and what is trustworthy and what isn't. Most people don't have those skills, including you. Okay?
You must be your own advocate.
No, not necessarily.
You must do your own due diligence.
Sure, and that involves listening to someone who demonstrably knows what they are talking about.
To know what choices you should make. Because if you do a carnivore diet with the people that I've worked with, and I can only go by with the people that I've worked with, and my own experience. And I have to phrase it in that way. I can't tell you that everything is fantastic because, I'm 55 going on 56 and I got the gains.
Yeah, you look great, Stephanie. You look awesome. You've always looked awesome as far as I've known about you. Not surprised that you would continue to look awesome. You've got a number of things going for you. But so what?
No, because that would be unrealistic. My life, my physical damage is different from the next person's. My body's going to react differently to histamines, to environmental toxins, to stresses and cortisol, poor sleep, circadian rhythm, having brown skin and it's more difficult to let in vitamin D, but easier to not have skin damage. Everyone's different.
A little bit, yeah.
Have female hormones?
Do you? That'd be a surprise, considering that I'm assuming your gender. I guess you've claimed it for yourself, so I guess it's okay for me to assume that that's what you mean. Yes, you're a female, clearly.
More women have gallbladder issues than men because of all of this estrogen, which bogs down the whole biliary duct system, backs cholesterol up in the gallbladder. These things are more practical advice. Not like every single guru should be put in jail for giving the carnivore diet advice, maybe. No. But his solution was to sit there and fast and starve yourself. And I mean, look at some of these people. Just look at the health of people, I cannot.
The more free radicals you produce. The more calories you eat,
you can't eat any calories still.
Especially micronutrients.
Okay, they don't zoom in on this guy, but I will. I know my computer won't let me zoom anymore. This guy is not the pillar of health.
You spotted that, did you, Steph? Awesome. We did too.
It's like life is a trip. People are always like, let me see if you can see this guy better. Life is always so... People aren't going to tell you when they're having a bad day. They're not going to tell you if they're
They do, actually, Steph.
Dehydrated, if they're having chronic headaches, if their skin's starting to sag.
People love to bitch about poor health.
If they're getting dark circles under their eyes, if they miss their period, if they start to get bloated, if they develop constipation, lose stool, they'll say, I lost this many weight. I have so many people saying to me, why are so many people doing great on carnivore? I'm like, they're not.
They are, Stephanie. They absolutely are. No amount of saying they're not will change the fact that they are.
There's always a problem.
No, there isn't always a problem. If you do it right, no problems at all.
There's benefits and there's a problem.
There are no problems if you do it right.
Sometimes the problems outweigh the benefits.
If you do it wrong, yes. You never really were a carnivore and you did it wrong. Line up for public naming and shaming. We'll point our fingers and laugh and say, ha, you did it wrong. You never really were a carnivore. I'm joking, of course. We don't do that. Well, I don't. Unless you're someone like Salad Boy, in which case I'll quite happily point out exactly what he did wrong in order to educate people to not do the same thing and make the same mistakes. I'm still waiting for any reason to believe that carnivore is not the answer long-term for all people. Stephanie, I'm waiting for anything at all. Do you have anything?
Sometimes the benefits outweigh the problems, but most of the time the problems outweigh the benefits.
Nonsense. Again, most of the time. That means more than 50%. Okay, do you have any statistics on that, Stephanie? Shall we wait? No, again. Okay.
Because people don't know what the frack they're doing.
That's right, they don't, because they listen to people who also don't know what they're doing. People who say stupid, mindless shit like carnivore diet's bad for you long term. Well, how, Stephanie? Because you started your video making an absolute and unequivocal statement that there's no way in hell that a carnivore diet long term is good for you. I'm waiting for anything at all.
They're eating high protein.
Okay, well, how much is high protein? How much is indicated? Certainly more than you're suggesting to people, Stephanie. Without any question. You're suggesting a diet that is too low in protein to people. That's irresponsible. That will lead people to problems.
They don't know what's going on with their kidneys before eating all that high protein.
How much is all that high protein, Stephanie?
The body's converting a lot of that protein back into glucose.
How do you determine that? How have you determined that? Do you have any statistics or any clinical data on that at all? Shall we wait? No again? Goodness.
And then their energy tanks. Why aren't these people talking about this? Simply because they don't think that way.
Because most people aren't having those problems.
They're not looking for the problems in these dietary measures. This guy's looking for talking about fat. I'm going to get rid of this. Good night. Okay.
I love you, Stephanie, but you really have completely lost the fucking plot. You really have dropped your shit in a bad way. Please come back to us. We miss you. Fuck me, really?
Most people, they don't like to acknowledge anything that's difficult because it's hard to get eyeballs when you're reminding people that life is a challenge. We want life to be a challenge. If it's easy, you can't have joy without pain. So, yeah.
Nonsense. They are not mutually exclusive or mutually required. You can have joy without pain.
Yeah, doing this diet, you're going to have a struggle, but that's okay. That's okay, because in the struggle,
you're not going to have a struggle at all if you do it right by listening to someone who knows what they are talking about.
You're going to learn what works best for you, not for everyone else, but for you. Now, I'm going to go more into other videos about, because, I'm researching stuff for my challenge. I'm doing a challenge.
No, you're reviewing stuff that other people have done. That's not researching, Stephanie. That's reviewing. You are applying your interpretation, your coloring on what you're seeing and spouting off your opinion on the basis of that. You're not doing research. Research is done in laboratories by scientists. You're doing review, which is interpretive. Okay?
And my challenge is more about general health, applicable to carnivore and keto and low carb, high fat. But I want you to know things like, where's my little research?
Oh, God, seriously, get your shit together, Steph. Honestly, love, get it together.
Like breaking down all of that stuff. Like,
what stuff? What are you talking about?
Lectins, saponins, tannins, phytic acid.
All things you'll get from plants, not carnivore. Yeah.
All of these things. Nightshades, goitrogens.
Yes, again, plants, not carnivore.
Gluten.
Yes, plant-based, not carnivore.
For example, we all know that goitrogen, well, we don't all know, but a lot of people know already that goitrogenic foods that you find in your cruciferous vegetables.
Right, so not in meat then, so not applicable to your discussion in this video about carnivore, and carnivores somehow being confused, which we're not still.
If you already are having problems absorbing iodine and you're doing raw cruciferous vegetables,
well, then you're asking for a problem. You deserve what you get. You shouldn't be doing that.
You might actually make it more difficult to absorb the iodine that you're.
You almost certainly will. But what has that got to do with carnivorous diets, Stephanie?
Trying to get in other foods like eggs because of the broccoli you're having with it. That's raw, right? Because it can interfere with the ability to uptake iodine.
You've said that. We agree. It's not relevant to your video here about carnivores and how we're confused somehow.
Or we've got.
I think it's clear who is confused. What do you think, boys and girls? Leave me a comment underneath this video. I love Stephanie. She's great. But somehow, for some reason, in the last 6 months, she has totally, utterly lost the plot. It seems almost irretrievably. This is not the same person even. What has happened to you, Stephanie? What is going on? Wow.
Tannins, which are typically in teas and in coffee, and they
So not in meat then. Good.
interfere with the nutrient absorption of zinc, iron, and copper.
Yes, absolutely. However, Carnivore Confusion is the name of this video. I'm still waiting for any reason why I might be confused. And I'm still waiting for an explanation of why the carnivore diet, there's no chance in hell, H-E-L-L you said, that it could be good for a person long term. I'm still waiting for anything at all.
We're all different.
You've said that.
We're all different.
Fuck me, really? Oh, wow. Oh, I shouldn't laugh. This is really sad. Really sad. Is there a family history of dementia, Steph? I don't know.
That's it, you guys.
That's what? What have you said? Have you told us why the carnivore diet could not possibly be good for us long term? No, you haven't. Have you explained to us why it is that we're confused, us carnivores? No, you haven't. What have you done? You've shown us the thumbnails and titles of a few videos and waffled inanely about them without having even seen those videos, it seems. You've played us a little bit of a video put together by Joel Furman, a complete fuck splat, which at least you could see that he was a complete fuck splat. And then you waffled inanely some more about stuff that's got nothing to do with carnivore. Wow.
Doing a really, really quick, is it quick? 20 minutes?
No, that's not quick.
Cannot keep these things at 3 minutes long. But I was sitting here doing my research for my channel.
No, you weren't. You were. Research is done in labs by scientists, remember?
And I'm doing everything that I can think of. I'm throwing in the forks, the knives, and the kitchen sink into the kitchen sink.
So this is yet just more words that mean nothing.
So when you guys are trying to figure out what works best for you, you can start going like, well, there's anti-nutrients in foods. Here's the measurements.
Yeah, but you won't find those in meat, Stephanie. This video was about how it is we're confused and how carnivore is not good for us long term, remember? Or it was supposed to be.
Things. How does the gallbladder fit in with the pancreas? What's going on with my stool? How do I balance?
Yes, I would like to know what's happened to your shit, Stephanie. You've lost it. You've lost your shit entirely. What the purple fuck is going on, love? Honestly. Wow.
My blood sugar. What if I have hemochromatosis?
What if I do? I don't. Do you? I would suggest not. How does that relate to fucking anything?
Okay. What if I have a sensitivity to a certain food, if you have SIBO, or what if you are trying to have the gains or drop weight or gain weight?
Wow.
That's what I'm going to put out in 30 days. So I'm going to make it very, very, very simple. So
Are you? You're going to make it simple, are you? Stick around for that, boys and girls. That I'd love to see.
I haven't finished yet, so there is no way to sign up yet. It's $30 for 30 days, but I will announce it when I'm ready and I'm freaking out because my air conditioner broke. Yes. And it's like 80. Oh, it's now 79. It was like 83 degrees in here and humid. So that's another thing I got to fix is my air conditioner. It's like every day you wake up, you're like, no, not that. Like I was warming up my car just last week because it was cold.
Okay, I think we're done, Steph. I think we are really, really done. Another nearly hour spent well, I think, on investigating what exactly the hell is going on in this community. I think we know who's confused. I think that's clear. Thanks for sharing. Please stop. Honestly, until you get back on track. Do drop me an email. Let's have a discussion. I'm really genuinely concerned about you, Stephanie. I really am. I cannot believe how far off track you've gone. You seem to have lost every ounce of intelligence that you had. You seem to have lost the plot so entirely that it's unbelievable that it's even the same person. Something is going on with your health in a big way, I would suggest. And I'd like to get to the bottom of it. I'd like to help you. So, reach out to me. Love to talk to you. Still love you personally. But this is just bullshit, Stephanie. This is just garbage from start to finish. Please fucking stop until you get this back under control. All right? The rest of you, you know the drill. Don't let the door hit you in the arse on the way out. Clean up the room after you. Don't leave your mess behind for others. See you next time when someone else will be wrong on the interwebs. 2, 3, 4.